What's happening, people? What's going on? How you guys doing? Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Happy Saturday, guys. I hope you lot are all doing well. Let me know how you lot been. I'm sorry for the lack of streams over the last week or so, but I'm feeling a lot better now. But I've been trying to churn out the content. I've been trying to put out videos, which you lot would have noticed. I've put out a couple of videos throughout the week, which kind of makes up for the lack of streams. But we got so much to talk about. And it's so funny, guys, because I haven't done a stream in about a week or so, and there's nothing on Bryan Mbeumo. Nothing on Bryan Mbeumo. Still no here we go. Preseason players are reporting for preseason on Monday in 2 days' time, and it still seems like it's not looking good, guys. It's not. I put my hands up and I'm saying it right now. It's not looking good. It's not looking positive for me. I'm trying to stay positive, but I'm not trying to be like toxic positive. But I'm trying to stay positive with the transfer window. It's very hard to buy into right now. Whatever this is that Man United are building is very, very hard to buy into. Big up to Muna. I hope you are doing well. Pound for pound, big up. Says, how's your recovery going? It's going good. I'm feeling much better now. And I'm getting much, much better. Big up to Sebastian in the chat as well. Listen, guys, we've got so much to talk about because over the last couple of days, I feel like there's been a lot of conversation. The biggest conversation is surrounding Man United's outgoings. And yesterday, The Athletic confirmed that 5 players are expected to leave the club and report late for preseason. So they will not be joining Manchester United players who are reporting for preseason this week. They will not be reporting for preseason. It's expected they won't be going on the preseason tour. And that's 5 players, 4 of whom are attacking players. So for a team that have failed to score any goals or score consistent goals last season, they are now putting 4 players on the chopping block, telling them, actually, let's start with the main part. Because the way that Manchester United, I think, are perceiving this is completely different to the reality of it. And the reason why I say that is because they have briefed the media that, these players have said that they want to leave. Whereas the players, it sounds like, are briefing the media that, oh, we weren't aware of this. We were planning to report for preseason. So if you lot are not aware, The Athletic reported this yesterday. I dropped a video about it yesterday as well. Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, Anthony, and Tyrone Malacia. Those are the 5 players that have been told that they can leave if they can bring suitable buyers. Now, The Athletic have reported that the rest of the first team will be reporting to Carrington on Monday for the beginning of preseason, despite the fact that they actually don't travel for I think 2 weeks after that for their America tour. But these players have been given an option of not reporting, but they can still use the rehabilitation facilities, so they can still come for physio and medical and all of that kind of stuff at Carrington. But essentially, they will not be at Carrington. They will not be training at Carrington. They will not be using the facilities of the gym and the pitch, etc., to train. They have been told to find suitable buyers. Now, on top of that, they have reported that Manchester United have confirmed that Matheus Cunha will be wearing the number 10 shirt. And I don't know how you lot feel about this. I feel like there's it's a bit disingenuous, if that's the right term. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I know you lot are going to accuse me of being a Rashford fan, but I just feel like the fact that they haven't found a solution for this, they've already stripped the guy off his number. Now, again, some reports are suggesting that they have been asked to leave the club, but they also are reporting that the players are denying this, that they haven't been asked to leave the club. And this is why I'm saying that. And they're also reporting, so the players' camps are reporting to media that the players are happy to return for pre-season. Now, it's been also confirmed later this morning as well that Manchester United's brief about the 5 players asking to leave has not gone down well with the players or their representatives. Some of them even dispute this claim that they have asked for a move. So it's I can't lie, guys. I know a lot of people want these players out, but this is what I'm saying, is the way that this is unfolding in the public eye does not look good on Manchester United. It will make it even more difficult, I think, for them to shift these players. It's one thing trying to sell players, right? It's one thing trying to sell players that maybe want to leave, or maybe sell players that you need to cash in on. But selling or trying to sell players where your situation is unfolding in the public eye every 1 or 2 days, you then can't expect to get the 70 million that you want for Garnacho, because you have it. I get it. Man United are trying to take ownership, right? The way that I see it is they're trying to take ownership of this situation by saying, we're not pushing them out. They want to leave. And the players are coming out and saying, we don't want to leave. We're actually happy to stay. We're being told that we are not reported for thing. So it's like, it's a he said, she said. It's kind of childish, though. I'll be real, guys. It's kind of childish. It's very similar to the Rashford thing that happened in December, where the club were briefing that he wants to leave, and then when he publicly came out and said, "Well, okay, then if the club want me to leave, I'll look for a challenge." Then everybody jumping on Rashford saying, "Look, he said he wants to leave," but the club are planting the stories out there. Man United are trying to take control and own the narrative of this situation, so it looks like they're in control. And also, they don't want to look like the bad guys, because when they look like the bad guys, it looks like they're trying to push these players out, which then it devalues their transfer value, whatever Manchester United want for these players. Right now, the player I think on this list that probably has the least transfer value is Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, out of all these players, for me, if he left for 10 million, I think Manchester United would rejoice. I think the football club would be happy if he left for 10 million, just simply to get him out. Garnacho, I don't know if there's potential avenue back for him in terms of what happened between him and Ruben Amorim. Anthony, I think, has made his stance very clear that he wants to leave, and I respect that, because he just wants to go and play football. And Marcus Rashford, I think that there's no coming back from that. I don't think there's any coming back from the situation with Marcus Rashford. So these are all, and Tyrell Malacia, who's the last one, by the way. Tyrell Malacia, who I actually kind of don't bunch Tyrell Malacia into the same category as some of these players, because I don't think Tyrell Malacia has ever put a foot wrong in the public eye in terms of falling out with the manager, falling out with, people at the club. Nothing has ever happened to what has happened with Tyrell Malacia is that he's been unfortunate with these injuries, had this botched surgery, then had to have another surgery, was out for nearly 18 months. And that is what has happened to his career. It's not because he has disrespected the club. It's not because he's disrespected the manager. It's not because he's publicly come out and said something. Yeah, I don't think Tyrell Malacia has done any of that. So I know I'm saying that there's 5 exits expected, but I think the categories of these exits are pretty different. Pound for Pound says, even if we don't get the bidding war, the players would leave. And it's also common knowledge that the players lack value in this market. So it is what it is. I'm not going to lie, guys. If we're living in a transfer market, yeah, we live in a transfer market where I'm seeing flipping Gittins going for 55 million. There is no way, no matter, and this is what frustrates me probably the most about this entire saga with Man United's transfer listed players, yeah, is that these players have value. They have value. When you look at the market and you look at the going rate of wide players or forwards on the market, and I'm seeing Gittins going for 55, I'm seeing João Pedro going for 50 something, I'm seeing all of these players going for high valuations or relatively high valuations, and then we're undervaluing our players. Why? Because all of this is played out in the public eye, and the second that this occurs in a public setting, it's like suddenly you don't control the situation, because clubs already know, oh, you want to get rid of this guy. I ain't paying what you want, because you lot want to get rid of him. So if anything, we're going to do this transfer on our terms. And suddenly Man United might find themselves falling short when it comes to selling Garnacho or selling Marcus Rashford. Gittins hasn't had a broken relationship with the club. Exactly. That's my point. And I can't blame the club solely for it, because, Garnacho played a part in his situation in terms of publicly coming out and making those comments. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Mona says, bad blood. I think they should have done that after Rashford leaves, out of respect for what he represents. Let's actually talk about this situation quickly. Marcus Rashford, it's been announced that he will not be playing he won't be playing for Manchester United probably ever again. But also, it's been confirmed that Matheus Cunha is now the new number 10 at Manchester United. Apparently, it was confirmed between Cunha and Manchester United when he joined. It was just waiting to be announced. I actually haven't checked the Manchester United website, so I don't know if Cunha 10 is available on the Manchester United store. However, with saying that, I don't know how you lot. I feel like this will leave a bitter taste in Marcus Rashford's mouth, in terms of the fact that he's been pushed out. but he's also wanted to leave. It's very evident he wants to leave. For me, Marcus Rashford is no saint in this situation, because you're sitting down doing interviews in the summer talking about how much you want to play with Lamine Yamal, and the fact that you've said with Gary Neville that you don't like playing as a number 9 for England or for Manchester United, and then you're turning around in an interview with influencer saying, yeah, I like to play centre forward. Marcus Rashford is no saint in this. I remember when Cavani was stripped of the number 7. I remember when Cavani was stripped of number 7. And I actually felt bad for Cavani. The reason why I felt bad for Cavani is because I felt like he was beginning to become something for Manchester United as a striker, right? He wanted to leave. I think that year he was planning to leave, and they asked him to stay one more year. And then it ended up, Ronaldo ended up coming in. He had to give up the number 7 shirt. I felt bad for him at that time, yeah, because I know what numbers mean, yeah. This Manchester United Marcus Rashford number 10 situation is just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate to have your number taken off you before you've even left the club. Look at Barcelona. Barcelona is a good example. Yeah, the team that he's dying to go to. Yeah, the team that he's dying to go to. Ansu Fati has been the number 10 for years. How many years? Like 3-4 years. The guy has been injury ridden after injury ridden after injury ridden. Yeah, they still never stripped the number 10 off him, despite the fact that Lamine Yamal came and has wanted the number 10, and he's doing a little countdown right now on his social media, like he's about to announce that he's about to be Barca's number 10. And also, given how heavy that shirt weighs at Barcelona, like a lot of great people have worn that number 10 shirt, especially Messi. I feel like Marcus, right? The least United could have done is wait till he leaves. Wait till he leaves. Again, I know people are not gonna agree with this, and I've never seen the fan base so divided on a player. Like, I feel like the division when it comes to Marcus Rashford is very clear. There's nobody that's ever like on the fence about Marcus Rashford. It's always what you're on one side or you're on the other side. And I've never ever, guys, I don't know what it is. I've never seen one player have the fan base so divided on their opinions. Normally, I feel like, right now this season, yeah, there's certain players where 90% of the fan base are in harmony in their opinion, or whether they're good or they're bad. Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes are 2 players in this squad right now that I always think, why is everyone so divided on their opinion regarding the 2 of them, especially Marcus Rashford? We can sit here and talk about everything Marcus Rashford did. We can sit here and talk about everything Manchester United have done for Rashford and against Marcus Rashford. But the truth is, guys, the honest truth is, Manchester United want him out. The other truth is, Marcus Rashford has not been consistently good enough over the last couple of seasons to warrant having this much potential influence, if you want to say that. I feel like the day Ruben Amorim came in and Ineos came in, I think their minds were already made up on Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford did not start the season well with even Erik ten Hag. And I think Ineos's mind was made up on Marcus Rashford. And I also think Ruben Amorim's mind was made up for him as well. That's my hot take. However, with saying that, if you identified that avenue and you identified, what, the manager don't want to play the guy, Man United ownership seem to want him out, I think they should have looked to push for a permanent move. You don't want to find yourself in the same saga again in the summer because you're taking a shortcut in the January window. We need to remove the number 7 from Mason Mount too. He's just a squad player. Amorim doesn't rate him clearly, or he wouldn't sign Cunha and Mbeumo as the first 2 big money signings of the year, 2 brand new 10s. I think Mason Mount has to go. Like, Arsenal terminated. You know what, guys? Let's actually quickly talk about this, yeah? Let's quickly talk about this before we get back to other transfer stuff. Arsenal terminated Tomiyasu's contract. I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday, but Arsenal terminated Tomiyasu's contract, who I thought was a decent player for Arsenal, but he's struggled with injuries. Manchester United, I think, need to take note. I think Man United need to take notes, because it is clear as day that there are some players at Manchester United right now that are not going to have any value and add anything to Manchester United's season, whether it's through availability, whether it's through performances. I don't need to watch Luke Shaw play another 5 games at Manchester United for me to be like, oh, we need to get rid of him. I think we've seen enough. And I actually think had Man United been ruthless and had Manchester United been like, you know what, we don't give no Fs, they would have terminated his contract at the end of the Euros. I think at the end of the Euros, when he went to England camp to stay fit for England, etc., after having not played for United for nearly 5 months, I think after that competition, they should have terminated his contract. Tomiyasu ain't on 275k a week, Minar. Ineos would never take the hit financially on the remaining 2 years. What happened to all the savings they made from redundancies? Right, because guys, when they were making all these redundancies, nearly 400-500 people, working class people at Manchester United made redundant. What was the narrative being fed to the media? These redundancies will help Manchester United spend better in the transfer window. It will help Manchester United financially, right? That is what we were told. And I said this at the time. I said at the time that Man United were feeding these stories as briefs because it's a way to get the fans behind it. Because once the fans think, oh, okay, this is being done so that Man United can invest in the summer and have, some financial leeway to make decisions. Luke Shaw's contract being terminated, guys, is not anywhere near the cost of a transfer fee. The same way with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho got a year left. I think Luke Shaw got 2 years left. People are more happy, with Manchester United paying these wages. Either way, you're gonna have to pay the wages, right? Whether it's now or whether it's 1 year's time. As long as he remains at the club, you're still gonna pay those wages. United couldn't do it with Phil Jones. Clearly, it's not in United's it's not in their element to do this kind of stuff. Because they couldn't do it when it was previous players decades ago or whatever. So I understand that. But I just feel like Manchester United have, Ineos specifically, let me say Ineos, have fed these stories about redundancies and cost cutting, helping the transfer window and helping Manchester United financially. And these are the right decisions, etc., etc. Then to turn around and be like, oh, we can't afford to do this financially. So what happened to all those redundancies? Anyways, that was just a thought because we were on the topic of letting players go. Let's quickly talk about Mbeumo and Kudus because I don't think there's I think this is just brief stories to force Brentford's hand. I can't believe, guys, it's been 1 week since I last did a stream and we still don't have a here we go for Bryan Mbeumo. Do you know how mad that is? Do you know how mad that is? It's been a week. And I would have thought at least at some point I would record a video this week just to say, yeah, here we go. Bryan Mbeumo finally. It's been a month. It's been 1 whole month since Manchester United, since Bryan Mbeumo, said that he wanted to join Manchester United. Let me actually bring up Bryan Mbeumo here, seeing as we're talking about him. Let's put him up here on the screen. For me, it's really underwhelming. I can't lie, guys. I don't know how you lot feel about the Bryan Mbeumo situation, but for me, this is really, really, really underwhelming. Really, really, really underwhelming. Are we even getting Mbeumo, Mina? A part of me thinks we might not, guys. And you know how humiliating it. Let's not even talk about that clip, yeah. But do you know how humiliating? It would be for Manchester United to be at the table, at the table with these talks with Brentford for over a month. And they eventually decide to maybe walk away from it. A part of me does think that United does get it done. But a part of me thinks, well, if United would have got it done, they would have got it done weeks ago. We're like a month into the process now. We're going into pre-season with 1 new signing. 1 new signing. Actually, 2. Because Manchester United are obviously, and I told you guys Man United would do this, right? I said to you lot the other day, Man United would do this. Diogo Leon has been announced as Manchester United, new Manchester United signing. And he's being announced as the 2nd signing of the summer. Yeah? The 2nd signing of the summer. Even though we signed him months ago and he's only just joined now, he's now being perceived as part of the numbers for the summer. So at the end of the transfer window, guys, when Manchester United, when we're talking about transfers, everyone's going to be like, oh, we signed 7 people. I promise you, 3 of them are going to be academy kids. 3 of them will be academy kids. But it is underwhelming for me that Manchester United are entering pre-season right now with only one new signing, one attacking signing, with 4 potential attacking outgoings. We're slow on transfers. I feel Amorim will resign if we do not back him. I have a feeling that there's a part of me that I don't want to say it until the season starts and the transfer window ends. But if the transfer window continues like this, there's a strong part of me that thinks Amorim won't survive. There's a strong part of me that Amorim won't survive. Now, being reported by The Guardian, Manchester United, Chelsea and Newcastle are all interested in Mohamed Kudus. Mohamed Kudus has a release clause of £85 million applicable to Premier League sides only for the first 10 days of July. Sources also believe that West Ham will potentially do business for 60 million. I've seen him also be linked to Arsenal. I also think that this is a wake-up call to Brentford to be like, yo, Mbeumo is not the only guy we can go and buy for 60 million. We can go and get Mohamed Kudus if we want. I don't know how you go from Mbeumo to Mohamed Kudus. I do think Mohamed Kudus is a good player. I liked him at Ajax. I like him at Ghana. I liked him in his first season for West Ham. I think centrally he plays very well in the central roles. You know, he's good at dribbling. He's good at driving with the ball. He's a good technical player. However, with saying that, you lot know I always preach about going off of what the player has done for the last 12 to 24 months. Last season, Mohamed Kudus has been completely underwhelming. For the player that he should be, and for that release clause price tag that he had, that West Ham put on his head top, I think that he was very, very, very underwhelming last season. Now, I can't then turn around and be like, oh, but it's just one season. I criticize players at Manchester United for their last 12 months at the club. So I'll do the same with Mohamed Kudus. However, with saying that, I do think he's a good alternative if Man United don't get Bryan Mbeumo. However, and that's a big if, that's a big, big if, I would not be paying anything north of £60. £60? If we could get him for £60, that'd be sick. I wouldn't pay anything more than 60 million, in my opinion. Kudus is a purple patch player. It was clear to see from his time in the Prem. I also think in the Prem, he's never, in the last 2 seasons, I just don't think he's gotten his foot in with West Ham. Like, he will have games where he's consistently good, and then he just, is downhill for a bit, and then he goes under the radar, and then he comes back up again. And it's a very inconsistency with Kudus during his time at West Ham. I always liked him at Ajax, and I liked him for his national team. Ed's saying he's similar to Lingard, good dribbler, but output is meaty, doesn't work off the ball, and when he's not in form, he offers nout. Similar to Jay Lings. Interested FC, that's what we are, man. You lot don't know that. That's what we are. He's a good alternative, but the price needs to be under 50 million. Anything over that is overpaying for Kudus. But don't you guys think in this transfer market, you're overpaying for everyone? Like, I'm seeing Alanga going for 55 million. And that's great because it works for Manchester United, because United got a 20% profit clause on it. So I think United will make about 10 million from that because of the profit. So whatever profit Forest make, Man United make 20% off that, right? But 55 million, like, I was talking about this the other day, yeah, on a video with Alice, and I was saying in this transfer market, every summer I think it's expected now that someone goes for 100 million, right? Whereas not that long ago, I used to think, ooh, who's going to be the first 100 million signing? Like when Ronaldo, when Buffon joined Juve, etc. I used to think, oh, this is a lot of money. In that time, obviously, inflation is a big factor, right? But now I think it's calm if players are going for 100 million. Every summer, there's a player going for 100 million. In the next couple of seasons, I think there's going to be multiple players going for 100 million. You know, the starting price right now for any kind of talent is like 40-50 million. All you have to do is play 30 Premier League games and you can go for 50 million. You can go for 50 million. Do I agree with that? No, I don't agree with that, but it is the case. So Mohamed Kudus for 50 or anything under 50 million in this instance, you're buying cheap. People do not like. I feel like next season, guys, it's gonna be normal. Everyone is gonna be like 50 million for this person, 50 million for that person, 50 million for that person. 100 million is becoming the new 70 million from like 15 years ago. Facts. Big up to Danny in the chat. Big up Ramadan as well. Who's it gonna be this season? Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz went for 100 million. Before that, who last year? I can't even remember who went for 100 million last year. But then I remember before that it was Declan Rice, Caicedo, flipping Enzo Fernandez, all these guys. Minna, we're the only fan base that argues about player prices being 55 million, especially when we apparently need the money. You know what it is, though? I get why United fans argue about price tags, right? Because you guys know price tags at United, in my opinion, is different to price tags elsewhere. For example, right? Newcastle are buying Elanga for 55 million, yeah? I promise you, if United had brought a player like Elanga for 55 million, people would be clowning us. People would be clowning us. For example, João Pedro or Gittins or all of these guys, yeah, going for those price tags. If it's United that did that, made that move, it's all eyes on United, all eyes on that player. You went for 50 million plus, you better perform. Whereas at Newcastle, if Elanga does join for 55 million, he's going to have time to embed himself. He's not going to have that much pressure on him. It's the United tax in the transfer window. If people think Garnacho is worth 60 million, then Kudus is worth 60 million. For me, if Garnacho is worth 60, then yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you on this one. I just don't think 85 million, I think is 85 million release clause is madness for me. They'd be taking the piss. 50 million for come on, don't do that, man. Why are you not taking the stop changing up people's names to troll them, man? Elanga is fine, but 62.6 for Mbeumo is too much. Allow me. I don't, you know me, guys, with this Mbeumo situation, yeah. My stance has been the same. My stance has been the same. Just pay it. Just pay it. Oh, this idea of we shouldn't let clubs. No. We need Mbeumo. You know what? When you don't need a player and it's just like a luxury where you're interested in the player and you might want to sign. We are crap. We are weak. We are crap. We have no strength in our team. We have no physicality in our team. Brentford wants 70 million. Pay 70 million. Brentford 165 million. Pay this idea of we shouldn't. United tax on. Teams have done this to us before. Yeah, because we were running around buying stupid players like Mason Mount when we didn't need him, or we're buying players that we didn't need. We were signing Rasmus Højlund when other strikers were right in our face. Bryan Mbeumo ticks off all the problems that United have right now. So pay the money. Pay the money. I just this whole narrative of they shouldn't pay anything more than 63 million or whatever Man United played for Cunha, or he's leaving. He got 1 year left on his contract. Let him run it. Stop being silly. We've just exiled 4 of our attacking players. I do not want to go into next season watching Rasmus Højlund having to play in front of Mbeumo and Bruno. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. We bought Gittins and Pedro for 55 and 60 million respectfully, and Mbeumo is better than both of them. Just pay out. Facts. I totally agree. You doing any women Euros watch along? I was meant to, guys, and then I forgot. It's my friend's birthday dinner today, so unfortunately I won't. I really wanted to do. I'm so mad, guys. I feel like I'm not living up to my name of doing women's content on the channel, but I'm not even doing one next week Wednesday either. I'm not even doing one on Wednesday for England versus Netherlands because I'm going to actually watch that at a watch party with a brand. So I will do a watch along next Sunday for England versus Wales, but I will try fit in some watch alongs of other teams. So I'll try to do a Spain one, etc. Not gonna lie, I'm waiting for the round of 16. Group stages are nice, but I'm waiting for the round of 16 with that. And I'm gonna bring back the Club World Cup watch alongs because I haven't done one for a minute. Are you watching PSG versus Bayern? Yes, I will be watching that today. Might do a little breakdown video depending on how the game turns out. That's my point. We waste money on mediocre players before, so you can't now be dragging for a quality player for just a few millions. But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. This is the thing. Ineos told us that they were making people redundant so that we can buy people in the summer transfer window. I think everyone has forgotten that narrative that was being fed to the media when all these redundancies were happening over the last 12, 18 months. Oh, it's to help Man United put them in a better place financially for the summer transfer window, to invest in transfers, That's what we're being told every day. Brentford knew they lost out when they sold Tony for less than 40 million. So I understand why they want to cash in for Mbeumo. I think I agree with you on that, Josh. I definitely agree with you on that as well. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Garnacho has done more than Mudryk in the Premier League, so he should be close to his price. But United were always underselling. Only Ronaldo is the player we made profit for. Comparing Garnacho to Mudryk is mad. Comparing Mudryk and Garnacho is mad because Mudryk came to Chelsea with that 100 million or whatever, however much it was that they paid for him. He had that price tag on his head already because that's what they paid for him, right? Mudryk also, I don't think he played as much. Has Garnacho done more? Yes. Does that mean his price should be the same as Mudryk? No, because Chelsea overpaid for him. He should never have been that. He should never have gone for that price tag. And that's what I mean by the fact that the transfer window now is inflated. Like I'm genuinely leaning towards guys not caring about how much United pay for players, because we're living in a world right now where everyone and their ancestors are going for 70, 80 million. Everybody is being sold for like this summer transfer window. I think 50 is the starting rate for players. Next year is going to be 60, and year by year it's just going to increase. Year by year is going to increase. If Cunha didn't have a release clause, he probably would have been 70 million as well, if we're being for real. Maybe that made it easier. Maybe that made it easier. Let's talk about where is this gone? Here you go. Let's talk about this, guys. Because the jokes just write itself. The jokes, they really write themselves. By the way, guys, be sure to hit the like button if you've just come through. Be sure to subscribe. How we got over 120 people here and we are only on 50 something likes, guys? Come on, let's not do this. You don't know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and you hit the like button and get involved in the conversation as well. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel as well. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. I realized I didn't have I did not even have a super chat goal today on the stream. That's how you know I just literally just set the stream up and just went live. So make sure you guys do get involved. And like I said, hit the like button because the likes are really unacceptable right now. I can't lie. They're very unacceptable. But let's talk about, you got me, Wilfred Ndidi, Manchester United. By the way, this came out like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. This came out like 2 weeks ago that United were interested in him. And he had a relegation release clause of about £7 million. And now it sounds like Manchester United are genuinely interested in him due to the departure of Christian Eriksen. Because Man United have let Christian Eriksen go, they are now a man light in midfield. And this idea that Manchester United are looking to sign players with Premier League experience is probably the reason why it's led them to a player like Wilfred Ndidi. Now, one thing about Manchester United, and it's been the problem over the last decade, Man United have this problem of signing players too late. Whenever we sign a player, I'm always like, we should have signed that player 3-4 years ago. I liked Wilfred Ndidi many years ago. Do I think he's a answer now? No. Do I think he's okay for a squad option? Maybe. However, this could not be the starting point for midfield targets this summer for Manchester United. This is not where you start. This is where you finish. When you brought in your main midfielder, that is when you say, okay, let's go and look at a backup midfielder as well, Wilfred Ndidi. I promise you there wouldn't be any outrage and people wouldn't be against the idea of signing Wilfred Ndidi had Manchester United sorted out the midfield problem that they have in terms of who's going to play in that midfield, number one. Number two, who's going to be the starter? Because if you're telling me that Man United are going into next season with Bruno and Ugarte as the double pivot, I have no words. I have no words. That pivot stinks. That is the most smelliest midfield partnership that I will ever see in the Premier League this season. Ugarte, now it's been also reported that Ruben Amorim really likes Ugarte. This idea that Ugarte is going to leave, I don't see it happening. I know a lot of people are not convinced on him again, and I understand that. But he's not a star. So you're telling me United could have Ugarte, Casemiro, Bruno, and then Ndidi and Kobe Mainoo. What's the average? The average age of that five-man option must be like 98. That is ridiculous. Ndidi is good at sitting. He's not really good on the ball. Ndidi's not good on the ball. And for me, he's not a starter for Manchester United. That's what I'm saying. If it was a squad option, I would be like, okay, cool. If United had already signed their main midfielder, I would be like, you know what? I'm not too much. I'm not too against it. Why does it stink? Give your personal reasons and not Twitter tacticos. Use your knowledge to tell us how it stinks and how it's bad. I think you lot are trying to draw me out on purpose. Because who says that I get my opinions from Twitter tacticos? I've always stood on business when it comes to my opinion. I don't get my opinions from Twitter tacticos. And you don't need to be condescending by saying, use your knowledge to tell us how it stinks. If you want to challenge it, challenge it. Don't drop a condescending comment in the chat. But I will tell you why it stinks. Because there is no ball retention in that midfield. Not only is there no ball retention, there's no ball progression. Bruno Fernandes is not a traditional ball progressor of the ball. He will play a long ball, yes, but he's not an 8. He is not an 8. Now, the only thing that I can say is that from Ruben Amorim and the way that he has played, he wants his wider centre-backs, the right-sided centre-back and the left-sided centre-back, to be those ball progressors. You saw it with Licha. You saw it with Lenny Oro, who plays that right-sided centre-back. But in my opinion, you shouldn't be a midfielder and not be good on the ball. That's like being a goalkeeper and not being able to save the ball with your hands. You're not a goalkeeper. There is this idea that midfielders, oh, you got destroyers and you got a midfielder. His number one priority should always be being good on the ball, being able to progress the ball. Because you're telling me that your main job is to be a destroyer and retain the ball and win the ball back. What happens when you win the ball back but you can't get the ball out of your feet quick enough? Because I've seen that happen to Ugarte quite a few times. I've seen that happen to Ugarte quite a few times. He can win the ball back sometimes. Then he's not quick enough to get the ball out of his feet. Why? Because he's not good on the ball. Or an avenue opens up for him and he can't play a pass. He can't play that pass. And when he does play that good pass, I see it clipped up over on Twitter 100 times. Because it's that 1 in 10 passes that he plays. Now, I saw something that Al Hilal did, right? I saw Al Hilal do something that intrigued me a little bit. Now, Al Hilal play with a back 4, right? But under Inzaghi, what they've been doing is they would play with a back 4, but in game, they would shift to a back 3. So they'd have Koulibaly and I think their other centre back is Al Amri or something like that. They'd have them shift out and they'd had Ruben Neves drop into the central role of the centre back position. Then they've got their little wing backs advanced. They got Cancelo wide, etc. They got their left back wide as well. So even on paper, they're playing as a back 4 because when they shift into defensive transitions, they're playing in a back 4. But when they're building up, they would have Inzaghi had Ruben Neves dropping into that central role of the back 2. And why is that? It gives me the quarterback vibes. He's good on the ball. You don't need your centre backs because your centre backs are there to defend, win aerial duels, win a foot race, make sure you don't concede a goal. But now we expect centre-backs to also be good on the ball. But what Inzaghi was able to do was identify an avenue of, you know what, I can shift my team into a back 3 by dropping one player back. It allows me to push 2 people up. So that is smart already because now you've got more people forward. Yeah? I like that, by the way. They did this against Manchester City. They did it last night as well against Fluminense. Ruben Neves, I think, it's very sad what's happened with Diogo Jota, and it did feel like I don't think he should have played that game, but he wanted to, so shout out to him. But I saw him do it yesterday as well. Inzaghi did that. And that makes sense because it creates a better overload for you attacking wise, because now you've just dropped one player out and put him into defense, and you've pushed two guys up. And also it helps because, again, Inzaghi has adapted. Salim Al-Dosari, their best wide player, one of the best Saudi players, has been out injured. So what has he done? He's been playing with two-man forward with Leonardo and Malcolm. So that makes sense for you to have wing-backs going forward, because now you're not playing with any left wingers or right wingers. I just asked for adaptability. For me, it makes sense for your midfielder to be good on the ball. Always. I wouldn't mind a midfielder who's good on the ball, that maybe can't win an aerial duel. That's okay. You won't go up for set pieces. You can stay back. You can stay back. But this idea, and I feel like we've been indoctrinated to believe that midfielders don't have to be good on the ball. And maybe it's the era of football that I grew up watching. Yeah? Look at, I know this is not the best of examples, but look at that Barcelona team of midfielders that they had. They had Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, yeah? They weren't aggressive shin kicking midfielders. They were midfielders that were good on the ball. When you're good on the ball, no one can get the ball off you. No one can get the ball off you. They have they're press resistant. So they don't even have to worry about winning the ball back, because they're never gonna win, they're never gonna lose it. And look at PSG, yeah, look at PSG for example. And I point this out every single time when I talk about ball progressive midfielders or deep lying midfielders that are good on the ball. Vitinha is not a deep lying midfielder, right? He's not, but for PSG in that final against Inter, he was picking up the ball off his centre backs, and there was multiple moments of goal opportunities and even a goal that they scored that came from Vitinha. There was that one particular goal, I don't know if you guys remember, he picked it up, comfortably wriggled through people because he's good on the ball. People can't get the ball off him. He's press resistant. And he managed to find the right, but he didn't have to boot the ball forward. He didn't have to, throw a rocket forward or any of that stuff. It's just the simple parts of football. It's just the simple parts of football. So this idea that Manchester United are going to shift Bruno to the 8, it concerns me a little bit, because I always think Bruno's better as a 10. He's also better as a 10 if you allow him to drop deeper. But you need someone to pick up that space that he's vacating from. So you have to have like a inverted fullback or wingback or whatever these new football phrases are that everybody comes up with. So that is my point to the person that asked about me and my Twitter tactical opinions and having my own opinion. That is my opinion. That midfield, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of a midfield of Bruno and Ugarte. And I don't think Ruben Amorim likes it because he left Ugarte out of the final. Like, it's as simple as that. He left him out of multiple back-to-back games because there's, I think, a game for a player like Ugarte. There's not many games. A game for a player like Ugarte, in my opinion, is a game where your midfield is going to be overrun. And can I just say, there are, what was I going to say? There's not many teams that always play with a two-man midfield. So Man United are always going up against opponents, in my opinion, where they are overrunning midfield. Mina, are you saying Ndidi does basic CDM principles correctly? What would you class as basic CDM principles? What, like, if you guys were to say basic CDM principles, what would you guys say you expect your CDM to do? When I think of CDMs, guys, I think of the likes of Makelele, Kante. Like, when I think of CDMs, that's the kind of CDMs that I think of. Engines in your midfield, but equally so, people that can drive the ball forward. People that can drive the ball forward, that it's difficult because they're physical and they're strong and, they can get up and down. Rodri, another example of a CDM. Rodri, don't let anyone tell you he ain't good on the ball. Can I ask you guys that? Can I ask you guys a question? Why is it when we talk about sixes, yeah, and we talk about Rodri, no one ever says, oh, it's okay if he's not good on the ball because that's not his job. He's good on the ball. He's good on the ball. So for me, even like Baleba for me is not I wouldn't class him as a CDM. I see him more as a box to box because his job changes whenever I watch Brighton in game. Sometimes he's the guy that's sitting in front of the back four. Sometimes he's up and down. Sometimes he's driving the ball forward. It changes every time. Let me see what you guys are saying. Engine, ball progressor, control, defensively sound. There you go. Fair enough. Ndidi for 5 million I'd take, but it's underwhelming for LOL in 2025. And that is the thing I was saying about the Ndidi thing. I wouldn't mind if United sign a Richard Rios. I like him. I really like what I've seen in the Club World Cup from him. But even like Lamine Kamara or Baleba, and then they turn around and say, we're going to sign Ndidi as well, just for insurance purposes, backup purposes. We're one man light, Eriksen has left. No problem. But you're telling me that's the first midfielder that we've been linked to in the summer transfer window. Does that not raise a bit of a red flag for you guys? Because it raises a little bit of a red flag for me. Another midfielder we've actually been linked to as well is this guy right here. We have been linked to Douglas Luiz, guys. We've been linked to Douglas Luiz. It's been reported that Manchester United are demanding 30 million euros for Jadon Sancho, and Juve have an exchange with Douglas Luiz on the table to present to Manchester United. Can't lie, it'll be underwhelming for me. It's just the only thing he ticks is Premier League experience. The only thing that Douglas Luiz ticks for me is Premier League experience and maybe some physicality, maybe. Guys, I'm just underwhelmed with the links. I'm just underwhelmed. I think he is decent, but I don't think he's the, and maybe I need to be humble, guys. You know that. Maybe I need to be humble. Because when I think of what the players that United should be signing, I'm like, Douglas Luiz and Ndidi are not the first two midfielders I think of. But I have to remember where Manchester United are now. That's my problem. I'm sitting on a high horse that I shouldn't be sitting on. I need to be humble. Be humble. Word to Lewis Skelly. Did Fabrizio say that Juve are willing to do 3 players swap for Sancho? I would take it. What 3 players would you take? Douglas is overrated. Douglas Luiz is a good loan option. We're doing Juve a favor. Because they don't want him anymore. And if they make us buy his girlfriend with him, he can stay at Juve. I can't believe that happened. Like, guys, in my lifetime of watching a sport, I've never seen an athlete and his girlfriend be part of a package move for a transfer. Like, I've never seen that in my life. And I felt like no one was, they split up now. So they won't make us buy her because she's crap. She's not good. I don't want her at United with it. But it's crazy. It's basically similar to LeBron James making the Lakers draft his son. It's basically the same. Oh man. But somebody just said you just have standards for your club winner. Do you guys agree with this in terms of the fact that, because I think I have standards, but also sometimes I remind myself United are not who they once were. So when I see Chelsea making moves and I see, let me ask you guys a question quickly, because I did a video about this, I did a video about what Chelsea did to basically find ways around FFP and PSR, and they sold their women's team for 200 million. Do you guys think United should follow suit? Aston Villa have just done it as well. On the final day of the financial year, they've sold their women's team, which means it puts them in a positive position for PSR. Do you guys think Manchester United, by the way, you're not selling it to an external factor. You're selling it to yourself, just a sister club or sister ownership. So Aston Villa have majority owners of some capital group, and they've just sold their women's team to another part of that capital group, right? Chelsea did the same thing. What's the pros and the cons? I will tell you that. I made a video about it as well, so check it out. The pros is that you will report profit in your accounts, which means from a PSR perspective, your year-end position for PSR will be in the positives, right? And that is the biggest thing. Chelsea were making a huge loss, yeah, when Blueco took over. And then they did mad stuff. They sold 2 hotels that they owned at Stamford Bridge. But also, this is just the intercompany exchange. It's from one part of your ownership to another part. So the top part, for example, is for Chelsea, the top part is Blueco. Blueco own so many different stuff, estate companies, football clubs, etc. So Chelsea just sold it, the women's team, to another part of the owners of Blueco, that Blueco owns, sorry. So from a top level perspective, if Blueco as a company, as a business, were doing their accounts, it will net off. But Chelsea as a football entity, as a football club, when they do their accounts, it showed that they made a 200 million profit. Yeah. And then what did they do? Premier League turned around and told football clubs to vote for this, whether people can do it or not. And everyone voted against it because they realized that Chelsea found a loophole. They realized that Chelsea found a loophole and they've benefited from it. And now the other football clubs want to follow suit. Why? Because it is a loophole, but it's totally legit. I made a whole video breaking it down, guys. I made a whole video breaking it down. So make sure you guys check it out. And then Aston Villa did the same thing. Aston Villa were reporting, I think, a net minus 15 million across 2 years. So this financial year, their third year of the PSR outcome, they had to make a big profit. So what did they do? They sold their women's team for 60 million. And now they've made now over 3 years, it will show that they've made a profit. So it is, in a way, a loophole. But for a team that, like Manchester United, are just complaining about PSR, I'm thinking other clubs are doing it and it's legit. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's not cheating. It's not like what City have done. It's not cheating. It's a 100% legit. It's just that the Premier League can't find a way to close that loophole because all the other clubs voted against it. And why would they vote for it? Because Chelsea have now got a foot forward in front of everyone. So everyone else is going to want to do it. Everyone else is going to want to do it. Chelsea have informed Manchester United that it will cost them 35 million to sign Christopher Nkunku. Why are we linked to Christopher Nkunku, guys? Well, we've been linked to this guy. We've been linked to this guy. And I'm sorry, I didn't do a stream when it happened because it was just too hot, guys. If you're in the UK, Monday, Tuesday, bro, it was too hot to be streaming. That's why I respect anyone that streamed during that heat wave. But Ollie Watkins, this narrative around Ollie Watkins, guys, I don't know how you lot feel about it. Personally, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Because I'm in a little bit of two ways about this Ollie Watkins ordeal, if you want to call it that. On one side, I'm like, Ollie Watkins is a decent striker. I don't think he's the worst striker. He's, for me, definitely, like, I'll say top 6 in the league. Misses a heap of chances. Misses a shitload of chances. But he's absolutely a lot better than what people make it out to be. What? There's going to be another heat wave. Don't piss me off, man. Don't say that. Don't say that. Let me see. Hold on. Well, I don't say that. Guys, there's nothing I hate more than the heat. Oh, no, it's not going to be 41, man. Don't say that. This is what the weather's going to look like for the next... So it's back to the 20s and the 30s, which is not too bad. I can't deal with 40 degrees. That time when we had a 40-degree heat wave, bro, oh my God. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about weather. Let's talk about football. Ollie Watkins is better than anything Manchester United have up front right now. Is he the best striker available on the market right now? No. But Man United don't really seem to have the pick of the bunch. United don't really seem to have the pick of the bunch when it comes to strikers right now. And I also think the fact that they're moving so slow with Mbeumo, that's going to come back to bite them in the arse. Excuse my language, but it's going to come back to bite them with how slow that they're moving regarding that. Because if it takes you this long to get Mbeumo done, how long would it take you to get Ollie Watkins done? Minute you have Højlund, be humble. That's exactly why I'm actually saying that Ollie Watkins is not the worst striker on the market. I'm literally saying he's better than what we have. But I think it's within a reasonable price range. And also, we have to think about longevity, yeah? We preach this idea of having players for long term, right? But really, what young strikers have not worked at United in the last decade. It's always been the more older, experienced striker that have come in 1-2 years, done good. Cavani, Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic. Yeah, the last time we brought a experienced but still young striker was Lukaku, which I think Lukaku did all right at United. He was a mess off the pitch. So this idea that Ollie Watkins is a horrible choice, it's not. I don't really think that's the case. I don't really think that's the case. How can you not deal with the heat, man? It's too Western. You guys don't know heat in the UK. Like, honestly speaking, guys, I don't want to be dramatic. The heat here is something else. Like, I've been to the Middle East in the peak of summer of August. Yeah. I've been to my home country in the peak of summer, July, August. The heat here is not the same because I keep telling you guys, in the UK, I feel like the houses are created to restore heat. Yeah. So as a result, when it gets really hot, it's hotter in my yard than it is outside. I can't sit outdoors all day. I can't. So I'm spending most of my day indoors, but you're telling me it's more hot inside than it is outside. AC units ain't a thing in the UK. It's only become a thing over the last couple of years when we've started having these heat waves. But I don't mind like 25, 26 degrees. That's okay. When it hits 30 and I can't breathe, it's mad. It's mad. I'm from Ghana and the heat is worse in the UK. I totally agree. I've been to Dubai, guys, in August, and it was 50 degrees one day. Yeah, and I remember going out at the peak of daytime. By the way, in the Middle East, people don't really go out in the daytime, especially like in August. They don't go out in outdoor places. They'll go to like the mall and that, but they won't walk around outside at like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. One day I did that. I swear to you, I'm not joking, guys. I nearly passed out. I remember we went to a desert safari and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the sun was still kind of beating down at that time of the day. Have you ever got dizzy, guys, from heat? If you ever got dizzy from heat, you know what I mean. I was literally seeing stuff. I was hallucinating. I was like, what the hell? My eyesight became fuzzy. I was like to my relatives, yo, guys, I can't. I need to sit down. Get me in somewhere there's aircon. That's in the desert as well, which tends to be a little bit cooler than the city. You're right, man. I am Iraqi and I have experienced my hottest days in Canada. Yeah, I've been to so many hot countries, guys, where it's serious heat, guys. But the heat here is next levels. I haven't seen the heat in Canada. When I went to Canada, it wasn't this time of the year. Yeah, heat stroke basically. Yeah, it's a young heat stroke. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the heat here, the weather here, guys, is different. It's really, really different. But anyways, back to the Ollie Watkins conversation. Would you guys actually take him? Say United sign Mbeumo. United get Mbeumo. United got Cunha. But they turn around and say, you know what? We ain't got money to spend on a Gyökeres, on a Osimhen, on a Ekitike. Yeah? We ain't got 60 million plus to spend. By the way, Gyökeres is dying to leave. That guy is dying to leave Sporting. So if you consider all of that and United turn around and say, you know what? We can get Watkins on a 30, 40 million. Would you guys be for it? I'll take Watkins with Mbeumo. I think the only way people take Watkins is if United get Mbeumo. And the reason why I'm saying that is I'm not saying that they go hand in hand, but I feel like if United don't sign Mbeumo, they have to make a big signing. Like they need to go sign Lamine Yamal because that's I'm joking, not Lamine Yamal, but you guys get my point. They have to go and sign a big player because you've spent over a month chasing a player and failed to get it over the line. So the only way that I think that they make up for what they've underachieved on, which was signing Mbeumo, is if they go and sign Osimhen, right? If they sign and drop 60, 70 million on Victor Osimhen. I do like Watkins, like I said. But I also think on the flip side, one of our number 9s has to leave. One of them have to leave. And I've seen Rasmus Højlund linked to Inter. It sounds like Inter are doing this whole... They're going through a little rebuild right now. Would you guys actually take Denzel Dumfries? Would you guys actually take Denzel Dumfries? Because I would. I would absolutely take Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan for a 25 million euro release clause. Anyone that says that they wouldn't take him, then you lot are on something. You lot are on something if you're saying that you wouldn't take Denzel Dumfries for 25 million euros. At least then, I would actually be open to this idea, guys, of Denzel Dumfries at right wing back, Amad in the 10, with Mbeumo and Cunha up front. That is a little bit of me. That's a bit of me. I was surprised he's 29. I thought he was 25. You know what? I feel like this about a lot of players. Sometimes I think they're younger than what they are. Sometimes I feel like they're older than what they are. For example, who is it? They're like Phil Foden, for example. I always think he's older than what he actually is, but he's not. I'd take Denzel Dumfries to play right wing back, 21 million, 3-year contract. I don't care about age. We can rotate more. I mean, 29 is not old. I know football is making us believe that 29 is old. 29 is not old for a footballer. I think that's good. Like 27 to 29 is a good kind of bracket to still sign players. People get scared of the age of 30 for footballers, but some players, they age like wine. So they get even better the older that they get. But I would totally take Denzel Dumfries. And the thing is that I don't think there's a lot of teams in the market right now that could do with a Denzel Dumfries. So I feel like that gives United the edge to sign him, if they wanted to sign him. I think I'm not saying that he'd have a lack of suitors, but I don't think a lot of teams would be looking to sign Denzel Dumfries right now because they might not necessarily need him. Can we not sell Dalot for 20 million and replace him with Dumfries? In what age does Dalot go? Dalot ain't 20 million worth. We need to stop short selling our players. Because Dalot is not worth 20 million. He's constantly bombing forward. He'll get us higher up the pitch. Plus, he's athletic. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. 29 years, Ineos not getting him as they don't see resale value. Bun Ineos. Bun Ineos. I just think that if United don't get a striker, if United do not get a striker, this could work. This could work. You know why? Because I feel like a three-man front line of Amad, Mbeumo, and Cunha is a lot of balance. Because Amad ain't greedy. He's gonna find his guy. He can dribble well. Mbeumo can drive with the ball. He can strike the ball well. He can put the ball in. Cunha can get in behind, but he's also strong. He's physical. I just feel like that would be a good balance if United don't find a striker that they want to buy. And also, that gives leeway for someone like Joshua Zirkzee to still have a spot in the team. Because I feel like if United sign a striker, I don't think we're going to see much of Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee will be getting 10 to 20 minutes a game as a sub and maybe starting once or twice here and there. And I think Rasmus Højlund will be gone. Now, the only thing I will say is with the striker thing, I feel like Chido is so raw that he even needs some consistent game time at top, like first team level elsewhere. But also, I need him to learn off someone. So I'm in kind of two ways about it. Why the hell will we sign Mbeumo to play in the 9 for balance? I didn't say Mbeumo in the 9. I didn't say play Mbeumo in the 9. I said play him in the 10 next to Amad. That's what I said. If we don't get a striker, we definitely need to be creative and flexible in the market. 100%. I don't think we should look at the striker situation and think it's a striker or nothing. If we don't get a striker, then there's other alternatives you can get that add quality and depth into your team. And that is just how I think Manchester United should look at it. And I also think United will be very limited. Like the fact that we are waiting on all these outgoings to happen before we even look in the direction of signing anyone else. I think this is going to hold us back quite a bit. I genuinely think these outgoings are going to hold us back quite a bit. Maybe and again, I'm saying maybe because I don't know how likely it is it gets done, but if Mbeumo gets done, I think we're going to be waiting a long time for another signing, guys. I genuinely think that. Because also all these players, these 5 players that have been kind of listed as expected to leave, none of them have really had cemented bids come in for them. I think Betis is the only one that really wants Anthony, but yo, show us the money. You want Anthony, show us the money. So other than that, nothing for Garnacho. And that's embarrassing for you because you are talking like you were the second coming of Cristiano Ronaldo. Marcus Rashford is doing the most for Barcelona, and they still don't want to look in that. Nico Williams has signed a new contract, and they still haven't come in for a bid for you. Jadon Sancho, I mean, we've seen what's happening with Jadon Sancho, so it's actually quite embarrassing that we are. And I know you're not going to say we're only in the 5th of July, but these are players that have been evident. It's been evident they were leaving for months, years for some of them. Some of these players, it's been evident that they were going to leave. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford. So you're telling me Jadon Sancho has wanted to leave United for a year and a half, near enough. Yeah, a season and a half. And he couldn't get his ducks in order in terms of making sure that a club actually come in to buy him. You should also add Rasmus in that picture. I should. I just think I hate the fact that so much is riding on these players to leave before United can even do any sufficient business in the transfer window, which is sad. It's really sad. And I think we're going to enter a pre-season tour that starts in about 2 weeks. I think we're going to enter that with just Cunha, maybe Mbeumo, and that's it. Maybe that's it. Like, a part of me even thinks, do we even sign anyone after Mbeumo? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that. And maybe it's because I feel some type of way about these players leaving or not leaving, etc. And also they're gonna with Diogo Leon, like I said, they're gonna package it like he's a new signing of the summer. So right now it's already being reported that Diogo Leon is the second signing of the summer. Let's not buy into that narrative, guys. Please do not let Ineos pull the wool over our eyes with this idea that, yeah, we've brought another player this summer transfer window. Diogo Leon was always joining. I'm pretty sure they agreed it back in like January, was it? For him to join. So technically he was a January signing. He joined in the summer, but in my eyes, January signing. So this idea that they're packaging it as the second signing of the summer, don't buy into it. Do not buy into it. Do not also buy into when they buy academy players and they say this is the I think when you say, oh, United have signed 5 players this summer, it should be like 5 first team starting or squad players. No academy players, no one that you brought for the academy or under 21s or under 16s or under 18s. They should be straight up first team players that are going to play in the first team and also or be a squad player. That is just my opinion. That is just my opinion. I am going to try my best though to stay a lot more positive, despite the fact that all the positivity that I would have had has gone for Manchester United. I don't know where else to possibly think what the hell is United going to do or what the hell is going to happen. There's barely any positivity for me on that side. When do you guys think we get the Bryan Mbeumo here we go? Because I feel like I asked this after at the end of a stream every time. And every time we're like, oh, Wednesday, oh, Tuesday, oh, Monday. Now I'm like, I actually don't know. I genuinely have zero idea. I would have thought that we could have got it done 2 weeks ago. And my expectation and my feeling was that when we heard that Bryan Mbeumo wanted United, I thought he would have been announced by now. I've had enough of Brentford. Me too, man. Me too. I've had enough of United too. I think we walk away from Mbeumo and go for alternatives. That's embarrassing on United's end. I think that's embarrassing on United's end. United are going to try and control the narrative always about the financial implications of signing him, but I think if that happens, it's still pretty much embarrassing. United doesn't have the pull. I don't think it's the pull that's the problem. I don't really think it's the pull that's the problem. It's just clearly the conversations about the add-ons and how it's being packaged, etc. That's what's holding this transfer back. That's what it sounds like. How's your leg, Mina? My knee is recovering. Thank you so much. Physio's going well. I'm doing well. I don't have a brace on anymore, so that's good. I'm not really using my crutches anymore, so that's good. So thank you for everybody that asked. What do we have coming? I'm so sad, guys. I'm so sad that I can't do a watch along this afternoon. This evening, sorry. for the England women game, because there is so much football on. It's crazy. PSG versus Bayern, Real Madrid versus Dortmund, and then we've got France women versus England women. There's just so much football on all around the same time. I think PSG game, the Real Madrid game versus Dortmund, and France women versus England women is on at around the same time. It's on at around the same time. I think United might hijack Rodrigo. Yusuf, go back to sleep. Yusuf's always coming out with some wild stuff. Yusuf is always coming out with some wild stuff. But listen, guys, we've got so much content dropping, so make sure you guys hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It's the road to 16K. We are not that far off from it. We will have a lot of content during the week. I'm going to try my best to do watch-alongs, especially as the Club World Cup continues, as the Women's Euros continue as well. Going to try my best, so make sure you guys turn on your post notifications, so when I go live or when I set up a live, you lot will get notified. But hit the like button on your way out, guys. If there's any breaking news today, Mbeumo or whatever, if there's anything, you lot know I'll drop a video imminently. I will drop a video. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, guys. I'm out. Hit the like button on your way out. Peace.